one, should runners stretch? And two, when? And then maybe you could add a third of what kind of stretching should I do? And so for a long time, people were just kind of doing a little bit, or maybe they would stretch one part. This was always a really popular stretch, this calf stretch, where people would hang on and do a stretch. That was always really popular. Or maybe even this one was always kind of one when I first got into running, I would see a little bit. Or of course the old, touch your toe hamstring. And there's nothing wrong with any of these stretches, except for, are you sure you're getting into the right position for the stretch? And so I'm going to show you just a couple of things you can do for running that's really helpful. And what's funny is, as I get older, what you find as you get older, just letting you guys know to get here, the more consistent you are with a warm-up that includes some dynamic mobility, dynamic flexibility, as well as some static, that's really the key to getting yourself warm. So I'm just going to start right here. So this is a bench. You can use a chair. One of the things you find is most runners are not that flexible. And so if I just take somebody and tell them, put your leg out in front of you and then bend down till you feel a stretch, or here, I'll go this way. Most of us, me included, as soon as I bend, I'm like, oh, I feel a stretch. And then we think, oh, I'm going to keep stretching. So the thought is that we're stretching the muscle. But what you're actually doing when you feel that is you're pulling on the muscle, because a muscle can only contract and release. It doesn't really stretch. So that stretch you're feeling is tension. And that tension is kind of on the ligaments. It's a little bit, so just keep in mind that we really want to make sure we feel that we're lengthening without a lot of extra tension. So if as soon as you lean forward, you're like, I feel it, this might be where you need to stay for a while and then progress to going deeper and deeper. And so one of the things I like to do is start people with a chair or a bench, if you have a chair or a bench, and then place the leg on top. This is called supported stretch, because see, my foot's now supported. It's also a little bit higher. That support under my foot, now my leg is free to relax. So now I can do that same thought of stretching or lengthening, but watch, I'm going to lift my torso up, hinge my hip back, and if you want to reach forward, that's fine. But what you'll feel is a very different feeling. Instead of feeling like a pull, what you actually feel is if you lift your torso, really maintain that line up, hinge back through the hip to come forward, instead of feeling like your leg's being pulled apart, it should actually just feel like a nice lengthen. And like I said, if you want to put your hand here, that's fine. But the idea is to start to feel that this is what I'm actually trying to do, is lift my hip up, torso up, and then bring it back behind me. That's really the idea behind what you're trying to do. So again, let's try it. I'll do it with the other leg. So same idea. You're going to put your leg up and again, lift your torso. Now I'm using this wall also for balance if I need it. Lift your torso up and then look, hinge back. So you see, instead of thinking about reaching forward, I'm hinging back. And again, letting this whole space kind of relax back with me. That's really what you want. You want to go with that range of motion the way it's supposed to be. So I really want to make sure I'm increasing my line lift. So I always go lift first and then hinge back. And then you control as far back as you want to go. You want to feel a nice lengthening without feeling like the muscles being pulled or stretched, right? And then again, if you want to put your hand here, that's fine. That's just kind of I think people have always thought I need to touch my toes, so they want to put their hand there. But really, what you just in fact did is a hip hinge and allowed the leg to go through a full range of motion. That's really what you want with that thought behind stretching. So adding a bench or something lifted just allows the leg, one, to relax because it knows it's supported. Two, your hips are stable. And then three, you're able to really maintain your line. And then again, that hip hinge back. So then what you can do is kind of test that. I just did that nice movement. So now I'm going to stand here for a minute and do a few hip hinges. So now feel that same feeling. Leave that line lifted and then watch. You come back and you feel that same, now you feel that nice movement all through the leg. See, now you realize, oh, okay, that's what I was trying to feel. And you don't feel any pulling, but you certainly feel when you come back here, this is all awake, right? So it's a nice way to kind of do a lengthen and then test through activation. So that is one of my favorite things to do. And again, it doesn't have to be a high volume. So notice, I think we held this for, we lifted up, we came back. It was maybe 20 or 30 seconds. It wasn't a really long hold, but enough that you felt that lengthening. So you could hold it, by the way, up to 60 seconds, and that would be fine. We're not trying to stay there. We're trying to just make sure we can hold and lengthen. So that's for the hamstring, again for the hip. So then I'm going to come this way, because if I take my foot behind me, right, make sure you can find your bench. So now I'm going to do a couple of things here. One, see if you can let the foot relax. And this is going to help you open the ankle, the front of the foot. This is really good for prevention of shin splints. And again, I used to do this straight on the ground. That's still in our warm-up. What you start to find though is here, now I'm standing, right? So two things. One, this leg is supported. And watch, we're going to add a lift up with our line and reach a little bit back. And again, use your wall if you need assistance. So everything is starting to become about lengthening and opening. You see? I'm not pulling on anything. I'm not even trying to stretch my quad. That's not the purpose. I'm actually opening this front part of my foot, and I'm allowing my line to lift back. So it's a really nice way to feel that sensation. However, I am starting to open this hip flexor quite a bit, and I'll show you in just a minute how we can add the quad into it. But the idea right now is to let that back foot relax. That's nice, and that ankle is opening up. And again, lift my line up. And why am I reaching back? To extend my line and really get my hip flexor. If you get a little dizzy, grab the wall and then bring it right back up. And then again, I'm going to come right down off that. And the nice thing is we're going to test this in reverse. Remember that hamstring we did with a hip hinge? This, you're going to stand and just reach your arms up and a little bit behind you. Really open up those hip flexors and bring it back down. So then you're like, okay, that's really should start to feel, I should feel like taller is not the right word, but kind of like I'm lifted a little bit more. I really just got my hip flexors nice and open. My hamstrings are lengthened. So you see how we're kind of going through a great way to feel both that I can stretch and strengthen. And this is also, by the way, key to recovery. So a good way to sometimes do these exercises, you can do them before a run, like I said, you can do them after, you can do them by themselves, and pick like 2 or 3. So especially like if you have tight hamstrings and they limit you, you know that. So that would be, I would definitely pick this guy. I can feel my hip flexors or my shins. I'm definitely going to go this way. I'm going to give you so what I really want to take, so what I really want you to take away from this is the feeling you should get from the stretching or lengthening, however you want to think about it, shouldn't feel like the muscle's getting pulled on. It should feel like a nice relax. So that's why I like using support. And like I showed you today, using a bench. We also really have some great exercises using your wall, legs up the wall. There's so many good exercises. So start with just these 2. And then again, put it with the strength that goes with it. So leg going forward, I'm going to lift my line up and I'm going to add that hip hinge back. Again, until I feel, again, not feeling like my muscle's going to get pulled, feeling like a nice lengthening. And again, you can hold it, like I said, up to 60 seconds. And then again, when you get off the stretch, do a few hip hinges, right? Pull your stomach in and just feel, wow, I can really feel a little bit more range of motion, because that's really what we're going for. And so again, I'm always like, and I remind myself, by the way, lift up, hinge back. It's such a nicer way to feel that range of motion instead of trying again to reach forward and might pull yourself. And again, one of the main things to keep in mind is when we run, right, we're always trying to hold that line up. So any exercise that we do, we lift the line and then we keep that hip stable. It's amazing how that goes together. And then again, flipping over, letting this foot relax and going the other way, because that's the hardest part in your run, is holding this line lifted and really making sure that it has the ability to do that is really important. You also get a little balance work here. That's why it's a good idea to do it by the wall. Get that hip flexor, get that hip flexor. And again, only go as far as you feel comfortable. That's really, really important. And then when you're done, hang out, lift up, and feel that. Wow, all of this being open, going this way, opening this way, it's gonna allow for more expansion for your breath, more relaxed shoulders for your swing. So again, these are just 2 exercises, but they really go a long way. And then you can add those in. So we already have a warm-up one that's on the app. We have a recovery workout that's on the app. So those are both already on the app, and those are really great. I mean, I do those before I run also, after I run. This is taking it a little further, adding a little bit more specific stretch. So especially if you've been feeling your hamstring, feeling your shin, these are 2 good ones to try. But start to feel that difference. Instead of trying to feel that the muscle's pulling, you want to feel I'm lifting my line and the muscle is lengthening. So let me know if you try these stretches, how they feel. Like I said, get a bench, get a chair, something supported. And it's just a really nice way to feel how you can stretch and it feels good rather than just feeling like you're about to pull something. All right, if you give it a go, let me know. Thanks so much for all of your support. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you haven't yet, please do. And of course, share this with anyone that's looking to run pain-free.